Hello friends, welcome to another stream. So today I'm going to be doing some Jamstack stuff. So I talked about this a little bit online the last week, going to set up a Jamstack site kind of from start to finish, and we're going to be working on that today. This is going to be the first in a series. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with just building a Hugo site, kind of putting it together, running it on the local machine. Then later this week, I'm going to push it up to a few different services in the cloud, and we'll kind of choose one that we like. So I'll go with Netlify, we'll go with Vercel, we'll use AWS Lightsail, stuff like that, and just kind of see what the flow is like. So if you've never used a Jamstack site before, you've never built one, but you're curious about it, this series of videos will be awesome for you. I'm going to show kind of start to finish how we go through and build these sites. If you don't know what a Jamstack site is, it stands for JavaScript, APIs, and Markup. There are a lot of popular ones out there. Gatsby's probably the most popular. Hugo's a close second, but this kind of thing has been going on for a long time. So I used Jekyll for jeremymorgan.com for years and years and years, and that's a Ruby-based static site generator. Essentially, the idea is you take Markdown, you write up your articles, all your pages, your section of the blog, and then some kind of processor takes all that and generates static HTML. Static HTML, as you know, could be hosted pretty much anywhere. You can host it in S3 buckets, you can host it on GitHub pages, Netlify, all these different things, because they're just static files. There's no interpretation, there's no running any kind of there's no runtimes, no DLLs, none of that stuff, just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. That flat structure makes things really, really fast, and it's secure by default. So if you've been used to running things like PHP, like WordPress, or .NET Nuke with ASP.NET, all of these different things expose yourself a little bit. You expose your website a little bit by putting those things up, and you give a vector for attack, whereas this is just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So secure by default, super fast, super easy to deploy, and that's what we're going to be working on this week. So we're going to go ahead and just jump right in and start getting started. So the first thing I want to do is clone Hugo. Actually, I've already done this. I've already installed Hugo, but I'll go ahead and bring this up really quick, just to kind of show. Here, I'll just bring this over here. So if you want to follow along, like if you're watching a replay of this or something, you want to follow along, here's how you can do it. And I'm going to check something really quick here because I'm seeing some errors in my streaming. So I hope I am streaming. All right, looks like I'm hitting a few places. As long as I'm hitting YouTube. YouTube is the most important right now, because that's where these videos are going to be stored. And if you're watching this, you're probably watching it on YouTube, if you're watching the replay. Cool. All right. So one of the things you need to do is install Golang. And Go can be installed on Mac, Windows, Linux, whatever. Same thing with Hugo. So if you go in here to the Hugo Quick Start, it has all the different ways you can install Hugo. So the way I've done it is I've used Homebrew with Mac, and that's just brew install Hugo. Or in Windows, let's see if I can find Windows here. There we go. See install if you're running from Windows. So in Windows, what you want to do is install Go first and then run this command. Or Chocolatey, of course. You can use Chocolatey, Scoop, but this is probably the easiest way for me in Windows, is to just clone that repo and then do the go install -- tags extended. Tags extended is completely optional. The only thing you need tags extended for is SCSS Sass, things like that. Oh, as it says right here, duh. So I always build it with the tags extended just in case I want to use Sass. I am using Sass in a very small way on jeremymorgan.com. Most of the time you don't need it, but it's just good to just throw the tag on there. It takes a few extra minutes to build. So you can install Hugo on, like I said, Mac, Windows, Linux, FreeBSD. I've installed it on all of those four actually, and found it to run pretty well. You can also run it within a Docker container if you really want to. So we already have Hugo installed on here, but let's go ahead and fire this up. I'll just go into my repos folder, and what I'm going to do is just create a brand new Hugo site. Hugo new, I believe it's site or website. Jeremy Morgan Tech. And it's that easy, just one little command there. So we'll go to Jeremy Morgan Tech. And you can see we've kind of got a basic setup here, but you can't run Hugo yet. So if you try to do Hugo, it'll build, but you need a theme. So here's how we run Hugo server, and we'll just see what it looks like right now. Nothing, blank. So let's check out some themes. And I'll probably end up building my own theme for this. And I'll do that on the stream too, just so we can check it out. But for now, let's just grab a Hugo theme that we think will look good for jeremymorgan.tech. I like things really simple. So most of these themes, these are all the free Hugo themes that are available. Most of these are awesome looking themes. It's just not really my thing to have it really cluttered and filled up. This one I kind of like, this bear, but probably choose something that's somewhat similar to jeremymorgan.com right now, which I believe I modified something like hide or one of those, and I just tore it apart and started it fresh. All right. I'm going to check something here really quick. Apologies, it'll be just a second here. I'll probably cut this out of the replay video. This delay. Sorry for this delay here. I have to fix something with my stream. One of these days I'm going to figure out how to do this. Seriously. Okay. Up and rolling. And there's my little chat window. Perfect. Okay, so we'll choose one of these themes, and this is actually pretty easy to set up. So as I'm looking through these themes, I don't see anything jumping out at me other than this ugly bootstrap thing. Guess I could probably do that. Let's just do Hugo Flex for now. So when you go to themes.hugo.io, you just go here. You can have a demo. Let's see what the demo looks like. See if it's something that we can live with. Yeah, it's good. Nice and plain. So we'll go to download. Usually it brings you to a GitHub page. And you just copy that GitHub link. We'll jump back in here. And jump into themes. And get clone. Now take a note of the name there. It's Hugo-Flex. So now what I need to do, and I will open up a specific window for this. Whoops, not new file, new window. I'll open up Visual Studio Code. And we'll just open that folder. So we can just kind of dig in. And this one was Jeremy Morgan Tech. And I'll show you how to install a theme. Super easy. So our theme, as we can see, we've cloned into here. We've got Hugo-Flex. We go into our config.toml, and this toml file is your main configuration file for Hugo. Like almost everything lives in here. And one really cool thing about this, so recently I set up a much larger Hugo site. And we had a production environment and a staging environment on AWS. And you can do staging.config.toml, prod.config.toml, whatever for all of these different environments. And you can put in different environmental variables for each one. You can put in your AWS secrets, all kinds of stuff. So this is a really convenient, cool way to do this. So our theme is going to be Hugo Flex. So I just say theme equals Hugo Flex. Now let's go ahead and run it again. We'll do Hugo serve. Jump back here. We should have something. There we go. My new Hugo site. So, and I killed the whole thing, didn't I? Okay, that's all right. We're gonna run this from Visual Studio anyway. Do new terminal. Now in here, I'm going to type in Hugo new page, or actually we just do Hugo new content. That's one thing we'll need to figure out is what kind of subfolders do we want here. So for the subfolder here, I'll put in general. Now, in this content folder, this is going to map directly to your URL. So when I put something in general, I'm doing Hugo new content. Start this over again. And actually, I will use a terminal window because I want you to be able to see what I'm typing. Not jeremymorgan.com, Jeremy Morgan Tech. Which I thought was in here. Oh, lowercase, that's why. So we'll do Hugo new, content, general, hello-world.md. What that does is that will create our first page that you can see available here. Now, if we're set to draft equals true, that means it's just a draft. What's cool about this is you can build draft articles. So you can just start writing an article, you leave it draft as true. You can commit it to your repository, you can upload it, whatever. It's not going to show up on your actual website until you change it to draft equals false. So we'll just keep it this way. And we'll do Hugo serve -D, which means we'll serve up drafts. So Hugo serve -D is only what you would be doing in your local development environment for the most part. Let's throw some markdown in here. Hello world. This is the best website ever. Now let's look and see what that looks like on here. There's our hello world. We'll click on it. And I don't see anything. I don't think I've ever actually used this theme before, so I may be using it incorrectly. Let's check it out. I love making mistakes live because as I figure it out, I'm teaching you at the same time. One thing I noticed here is I don't have a description. If I load up my blog, no description at all on there, so I'm guessing that pulls from this description field that I need to add. Oh, hey Brian, what's going on? I'm just doing a live stream about Jamstack, building a Hugo site, which is pretty fun stuff. In here, this description will be used in two ways. It'll be used for your meta description in your header for SEO purposes, and then most themes will pull that description in on the front page. So we'll just put in, this is our first article. I don't know. Now this should show up on our blog. And this is kind of a weird theme because for some reason now this is the best website ever is shown up there. And I wonder if it's, no, I didn't click on it. Okay. So go back to my Hugo site here. And apparently there's the article. Let's throw some Lipsum in there and see, was it lipsum.com or something like that? Just throw a ton of it in there and see if it truncates it at all. If not, I'm going to grab a new theme. Now this does live reloading, which is pretty cool. It doesn't truncate a thing. So let's create another article and see. That's a little bizarre to me. Go back through our history here. Hugo new content general article-2.md. Now one thing you'll notice here is, so I have article-2.md, that will directly make it so that our URL will be /general/article-2. And that can be front matter if you really need to. Which I would highly suggest because having full control over your URLs is super important with SEO. So there's article 2. And as we click on it, you can see what I mean by that, where it says /general/article2. All of that's inferred from the file name that you create in here. So I'm not a huge fan of this. Let's dive into the theme and see why it does that. So we go into themes, Hugo Flex, layouts, and generally there's like an index layout in here. Maybe it's a partial on this particular theme. One of the problems with Hugo that I'm not a big fan of is the themes are all different. I mean, they're all over the place, the way people do themes. The way I do it, the way other people do it, the way the pros do it, they're all different. But as you can see here, we have a base of, which just puts in some basic information, then it pulls in these different partials. I never load multiple partials like that. That seems a little silly, but let's see if we can find our single or our index or something. There's single. So single.html is the file name for just a single article in the system. I don't see an index at all in this one. Not even in shortcodes. Either that or I'm just blind and I don't see it, but I do not see index, so I have no idea how that front page is even being rendered. Maybe they're calling it home. Yeah, it looks like they're calling it home. And in here we have site params summaries. So if you have a summary, it'll do a truncated listing. And Brian's asking, is it Jinja? Maybe. The tagging technology and the themes is kind of Hugo's custom way of doing things. And I would imagine it's based on something, but I don't know what it's based on. It could be Jinja. If you look at it, there's basically there's a huge array, and it all starts with a dot. So if you put in dot, that basically means like everything that's in that namespace when it loads. And then you can go and break it down like with content, ranges. It could be Jinja. I'll have to look it up and see what templating language it is, but there's a ton of documentation on the Hugo site. Templates. I spent a lot of time in here a couple months ago, let me tell you. Introduction to Hugo templating. Oh, it's using Go templates from the Go language. That is right. So I'll bet you they're ripping off Jinja. If it looks like that, then they're probably just kind of ripping it off. But as you can see here, you can pull in these functions. You can do really cool stuff. With a lot of the loops, it kind of confused me at first how it worked. And you can't do things like exclusive ORs and things, which makes it kind of weird, but yeah, it's like a Go templating. So I'll probably build my own theme in a future stream. Like maybe I'll do that tomorrow. I'll start working on building a theme. It's a pain in the butt, but this says if summary, then it'll display summary. Otherwise, it'll display content. So the way I can make that shorter is I'll just take this and throw it into front matter. It seems like an awful silly default to me to just default dumping it all on the page. Do I need to capitalize summary? I wouldn't think so. Maybe summary is a bool. I don't know why I keep opening Atom. Let me check that out again. Interesting. Dot summary. Which usually these don't have to be capitalized, so I'm just going to try making this a bool. No, I don't know how this theme works. So let's try another theme. It's probably the easiest way. Or, I know another thing I could do. Here's another thing I could show you about Hugo themes. It's kind of cool. Some of the authors are nice enough to put a sample configuration in it. So if we go to themes, Hugo Flex, they do not have a sample configuration in it. So I just picked the wrong theme altogether. That's fine. I'm sure it's a fantastic theme if you really want to spend a bunch of time, but I don't. So, just going to go back to the Hugo themes list again. And we'll try something like, I kind of want another clean, simple theme. Super awesome blog looks pretty simple. Hide. Let's do hide. This one's pretty simple. And in this process, I can show you how easy it is to switch themes with Hugo. Jump back in here. Do themes. Git clone. And then I just jump back into my config toml here. And we'll change this to hide. And start it back up. Hugo serve-d. Oh, you gotta run it from the base directory. Cool, let's see what it looks like now. Awesome, so this is a little bit more what I expect. We have summaries here. If you don't have any kind of description or summary, then it just displays the content. So for article 2, we'll throw a couple of these paragraphs in here. Now, one thing I want to do with this is I'm going to put this on a real website. I bought jeremymorgan.tech, one of those silly, oh, I got some more chat messages in here. Here, is there any setup? I'm system administrator, how it works. There is a little bit of setup. I talked about that in the beginning. If you go to gohugo.io, here under the quick start, it will show you how to install Hugo. And you'll need the Golang runtime installed, which is a pretty quick install. I do believe you will need some administrator access, but it says you're saying that you're the system administrator, so you'll be able to do that. And it depends on how you set up Go. You can set up Go so that it runs out of your local directory. That's actually how I do it most of the time, is I'll have my Go path, everything in my local directory so I can make it portable across machines. And yeah, I don't know if you need to be administrator, but probably just to install it. But you can install Hugo in here, and then let's see. Now I can't find my favorite way to install it is just to clone it and build it. Which for some reason I can't find those instructions now. But you can use Chocolatey, you can use Homebrew, things like that, and then it'll get you to that point where you can do Hugo News Site from there. Yeah, I don't remember where that page was, but you can clone the Hugo repo and just clone it and then do a Go install from there. So for this one, save. There's article 2, and it has read more. It summarizes it after a little while, which is great. So let's add some stuff in here just to kind of see what this theme looks like. We'll add some code in article 2. Let's see what that looks like. Now there is a default code formatter in here that that's pretty good in most ones. Like, we'll go to jeremymorgan.com. Find something with some code in it. It's probably been a while. There we go. Pretty sure I dumped code in this article. Or maybe I just did a pile of screenshots. There we go. And so this is the default. If you don't specify any language or anything, it just dumps this in here. I've been really playing around with the CSS, so I noticed when I put in different code formatters that they didn't look so great on mobile. So I pretty much, on jeremymorgan.com, I pretty much just dump it in there like I did here. But you can specify, and you can say Go. And as you can see, it's formatted a little bit cleaner. Little dark background. So just to show again, this is just generic code like this. This is if we specify, might as well make it proper Go code, right? And format it that way. Now, one of the things I was thinking of doing for jeremymorgan.tech, let's jump into my config toml again. And instead of my new Hugo site, I'm going to say jeremymorgan.tech. Right now, there is no example org. We're just doing it locally. But one of the things I kind of want to do is just dump all my YouTube videos onto this thing. Oh, Brian says specific installs for each instance is the way to go, just like Python virtual environments. Yes, I love Python virtual environments. Mainly because, a lot of people say with Python, just write it, don't do it without Python and virtual environments. They're annoying. Just build it or put it in a container. And I say that Python virtual environments are way easier than a container. I know these days everybody wants to put everything in a container, but for me, just a Python virtual environment. That way you can select all the different libraries that you want to install, and it's like super easy. And even if you're working on a small project, it's like Python-M, the name of your environment, and then the folder that it goes in. That's really all. And then you do a source bin activate, and that's it. That's all you got to do. So it's not like Python environments are a lot of overhead. So let's start playing with this theme a little bit. Now you can see I have my title up here, jeremymorgan.tech. Let's start playing around with that a little bit in this theme. And we have the hide theme. See, this one has the index that I was looking for. This one's named a little bit more standard. Here's some of our partials. Let's see if they have an example. Can't believe I chose 2 in a row that don't have an example site in here. So some other things you might want to know. Archetypes, right here. So anytime in Hugo, when you create a new site, if you create a .md site, it will pull from this archetype, and these are the things that need to come in here. So if I want to say, I want OG image to always be in here, and just do OG image equals blank, save it. And then the next time I create Hugo new content, general third dash article.md, we'll do Hugo serve again. Now third dash article. Oh, and of course it fails when I'm trying to show how it works. Of course, but this should actually have that archetype should apply to this, and it should have an OG image blank here. Let's figure out why. Oh, it's being overridden by this archetype. So the theme archetype, if you have an archetype in the top here, that overrides your theme one. I forgot about that. So let's just pull this out. And there's also 2 different styles to do your markdown with. This is the other style. I like the toml style a little bit better. So now we'll go in here and do OG image equals nothing. And I'm going to remove that one that I just created and recreate it. Now let's see what this one looks like. There's our OG image. So you can make this thing just gigantic and huge. Like I said, that project that I just got done working on, the front matter was probably 15 lines long because I had to insert stuff for analytics and for Cluedo and for different tags. And yeah, it was quite a large bunch of front matter for that thing. So let's see, what else can we do with this thing? I guess we could just deploy this somewhere. and start the deployment process. So we'll put this somewhere other than right here, since it looks like I've still got some time to do some deploying. Oh, but my squirrel brain, I was going to do some modifications to the theme first. So in here, static is exactly what you think it would be. These are the static files that are published into the public folder. So this public folder is actually your static HTML, CSS, whatever website. Everything in here. And if you type just Hugo by itself, it will build and push everything in here. So everything from static gets published in there. So if we go into our CSS here, there's the background color for our sidebar. Let's change that first. Change it to something probably blue. Actually, let's make it a gradient background, like I did for my little coding contest. A CSS gradient generator. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Gradients are so early 2000s, but you know what? That's when I started doing web development. So it's kind of like when you dress a certain way, it's how you dressed when you were 20 or whatever. Well, that's how I design websites still. So let's see. We'll do a linear. And for this, I think we'll do blue on one side, black on the other. Actually, I didn't want 4. Refresh this thing. So for this one, I want this one really dark blue. This one, kind of dark blue. This one a little less dark blue. Just give it that early Microsoft feel. Cool. This is what our background will look like, ideally. So let's copy this. Let's dump it in there. We'll keep the color the way it is. Save it. I did not start my Hugo server again. Hugo serve-d. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? All it needs is some Comic Sans now to really make this thing light up. I really hate this font right here. So let's change that. That's a terrible font. These ones over here are okay, but that one is just terrible. So where is that one specified in this mess here? Margin right, themes. Hide includes optional themes to color the sidebar and links. So I probably did this wrong. You're probably supposed to put all this stuff in here. Yeah, so they have all these different CSS options. So to style this the right way, I'm not a CSS developer. I can't stress that enough. So the right way is to probably go in and use these little themes, but I don't care. So we have PT Sans. Is that what this messy thing is? This is sidebar about H1, and that's April fat face. Okay. So I just need to find that sidebar H1. What was that called? Sidebar about H1. This one right here. Just get rid of that altogether. There we go. That looks pretty cool. And then we have this elegant open source thing. Let's change that really quick. We'll go back to our layouts. This one could be base of. Yep, partial sidebar.html. So each of these is split out into partials. And there we go. Now, if I put in site params description, before I delete this, I should show this. So let's break this down a little bit, this templating stuff. So, has a little loop here. It says with site params description, which I do not have. So, if there's no site params description, else an elegant open source blah blah blah. So, let's just throw that in there really quick. And that one didn't pop up. There we go. So for this one, it was site params.description. I briefly forgot that. So in there, you just put in params, and then this params is just a group of parameters to put in your site. So this is a great site. Come here every day. And there it is along the side. And then we've got home. We need to create some sections for this thing. But so far, I think the design is fantastic. Looks pretty good. So we have everything in general right now. Let's create some other sections. The easiest way to do that, make dir content. I'll just make one for Golang, one for C#, one for Python. I don't know. And then in our content folder, each of these will serve as content categories as we make these. So we'll do Hugo new content. We'll add an article here. Make one for C#. We'll make one for Python. Then we'll go back and serve it again. Now we should see a bunch more articles in here. But each of these is going to need a section so that we can, and I don't know why, click that one, there we go. So that we can have this go into sections. So see, if we do /C#, it will show all of these articles that are in here. So we'll do something like any framework tutorial .md C# data structures. Serve it back up again. And this is our section. So we'll want to create some sections in here so that the C# people can go to the C# stuff, etc. So we'll go back to our main page and let's just put some sections in here. Go to sidebar.html. Say C# stuff. And this is just all HTML. Cute. All right, and we had what? Golang and Python. Can never type when people are looking. I don't know. Golang stuff. There we go. Now we have a nice little menu here. So if we go here, we've got our C# stuff, Golang stuff, Python stuff. Now you might be wondering where this HTML is defined, where it comes from. Can you customize it? Yes, you can. It's different for every theme, but usually it's this list.html. So just to test this out, I'm going to put in a horizontal rule in here and make sure that there we go. So there's that horizontal rule. So you can go in here and template this and you can make it whatever you like. Like maybe I don't want the date on there. So I'll remove this whole section. And our span will just be permalink and title. That looks a lot better. Now here's something cool. These things are title cased here. But you can just pipe this. And I believe it's title to specify title case. And you can change these. Like you can truncate stuff. I'm trying to remember all caps. Now I've got to Google it. Hugo template. We'll do title case. Oh, see, I was recently at this page because I was doing something with it. Yeah, lower, that's what I was looking for. So we'll just make it all lowercase. Like for some reason, that's how you want your titles to look. Lower. And now they're all lowercase. So it's pretty cool. There's a ton of different things you could do. You could do CSS to remove these bullets and things like that if you want to start styling things. But for the formatting part of it, the formatting is actually really easy. You can even do, put in something like, we could go here. Let's throw in the description if we have it. Which these probably don't have any description to them, so let's add that really quick. Go into my C# articles. We'll just add a description to each of these. And there's our little descriptions. So we can take those. I may have title cased them a little bit. Yeah, I did. Okay. So you can do little descriptions there. You can pull out the date. You can pull out anything that's in front matter. You can add all kinds of different things like, let's see, what could I add in here? Like OG image is good if you want to use images for displaying. Hello, Tom. Tom coming to visit me in the stream again. Can we do some alt text? Sure. Let's pretend we have images. Where's that website where you can get the random images? Yeah, I don't remember. Somebody has to know this. We throw some random images in here. I'll give you some broken images for sure. Look at that. There's your alt text. I'll Google this because I don't remember where you can do those funky little images. I just used this the other day too. Generate images for design. Maybe it's here in this article. Canva. I don't actually want to make an image. Chart. It's probably something that I should have bookmarked. Google Photos. Here we go, C#. We're just going to hotlink it, steal it. Copy image address. There we go, with alt text. So if we wanted to make this our OG image, which stands for Open Graph Image, and that's the image that comes up when you post something on social. Like if you post it to Twitter, LinkedIn, like half the websites out there forget to put in an OG image. But it's super important for social sharing. So let's go in here. Holy shit, that's big. Oh. That's crazy. I don't like that. I'm gonna find that image generator. Just put in a random 320 dummy image. This should work. This is exactly what I was looking for. Dummy image generator. Something like this. I think I can just call it. Let's look at this to make sure. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Something like this. So for this OG image, if we go in and we'll put this in all of our little articles. Go back to our page. We can drop the OG image here and make that the image for your listing. Yeah, I just dumped in the raw bit data here. That's cool. Let's do and I broke it. So I may have put in the wrong thing. It might be page.og image. Oh, data pages. That should be correct. Okay, I'm going to check something else here. Check one of my other websites. See how I did that. I don't even remember how to navigate the layout of my own website here. Should be examples. Layouts, default. Default site title. Interesting. Looks like for my OG images. Dot params. I did not think that was proper. And it doesn't look like it comes up anyway. Oh, there we go. So to give you the proper, correct way to do it, it's params.og image. I'm not sure why I thought it was just .og image, but it's params.og image, so that's coming from this OG image right here. So one of the things you could do is create an awesome open graph image for social sharing and things like that. And then you can use that image, reuse it for your lists later. Like if you want to have your lists have those images with it. Pretty cool. So this templating stuff is pretty fun. Pretty nice. I think I'm going to combine these menus here because that's just clunky. So we'll just take these and we'll drop them in with the proper menu. And looks like this is a good opportunity to show the right way to do this. So here we have range site.menus.main. So we can put these in here and just kind of fake it in there, right? So it's like, or we can drop it into this main here, and I will. Needs more PHP. Of course. I've been just dying to get back into PHP development. That's my favorite. I'm not able to find it, so just have to guess. So we're going to take this and drop it into our config toml. And what we want to do here is look and see how they're calling that. Site menus main. So I think do menus main and just put let's see, it's looking for URL and name. So remember we had this list here, so our URL We'll just build a little array here and see if this works. Let's see, each of these have to be declared individually. I don't see my site down here breaking, so I'm assuming this is okay, but okay, I don't know if that's the old version or not, so put some asterisks in here to verify that I'm actually, yes, okay. So I wasn't 100% solid on that, but this is how you do it. So in the sidebar, it says range, site menus main, and basically it just goes over this range of site.menus. And because it's .site, then you know it's in that config.toml, which are the site variables for site configuration, and then everything in menus.main. So it will just loop over this. And we can put in PHP. And just add each of these, and then they will come up. Even though we have no PHP articles, thankfully. But we have C# stuff, we have Golang stuff, and we have Python stuff. So this is just some kind of basic theme editing. I'm kind of running out of time here that I allocated for this. So I think tomorrow, either tomorrow or Wednesday, I will get on here, and I think we should just start a new theme for jeremymorgan.tech altogether. Before I do that, I can set up Netlify or something. Set up a place to put this thing. I'll at least put it in a repo. Say new repo, Morgan Tech is available. Awesome, and I'll just copy this. A little bit of code here. Get remote add origin. And what else did it want? Oh yeah, it wanted me to branch it and then push it to origin main. So failed. And I need to get submodule add. So this is one of the things, most of these, like I took this theme down and put it into a Git repository, so now I have to add it as a submodule. Shows you how to do that right here. So just need to find that Hugo Flex URL again. Shouldn't be too hard. Somewhere around here. And then I should be able to push this thing. Okay. Git push organ main. Go back to my repo, and then we've got it here. Cool, great, and awesome. Let's just throw it on Netlify really quick. Netlify.com, log in, And let's build a new site. There we go. New site from Git. GitHub. We're already authorized on there. Do search for Jeremy Morgan. See if we can find jeremymorgan.tech. Apparently not. That search function kind of sucks. I think I called it .tech or something. Jeremy Morgan Tech. Now this is what's really cool. I'm basically doing this to show you how dead simple Netlify can be. I didn't even tell it what kind of site it was, so. No submodule path. No URL found. That is interesting. Let's check that out. Maybe there is no Git modules in here. Should be. So I've never had this thing happen before, so I'm not really sure why it's doing this. Submodule path and Git modules. Really doesn't like that. No URL found. So let's go in there and see. Maybe I have to add a specific URL for it. And themes, we're going to remove Hugo Flex altogether, actually. That way I don't even have to worry about it. Now we should be able to deploy it. Retry deploy. No deploy message. Oops. This one failed too. Themes hide and Git modules. And I have no idea why it's doing this. We should have added it here. Into there we go. There's our URL. There's our Git modules. There's our URL. I'll just set this upstream. Upstream. That way I can just get push whenever I want. That one failed as well. Hugo Flex should be gone. Should be out. Needs .NET for sure. Now I know who Making the Billions is because he's giving me crap about .NET. Even though he's recently experiencing Windows heaven, so. There's the URL right there, so I don't know why it's not finding it. You know, another thing I could do is just remove it completely. That's probably what I'm going to do because I don't really need this to be tied to Git anyway. So here's something you can do if you're running into something similar. Watch, this is really cool. -rf -git. No more Git. Oops. Yes, I did. Should have recognized that I removed that Git out of there. Interesting. Let's retry the deploy. And then I'm going to get out of here, and whenever I figure out whatever it is I did wrong, I'll put it in the comments on YouTube. It's starting up. And it failed. Going to delete this because I forgot to delete this. That's probably why it's not working. So if for some reason you don't want, like I usually don't use the Git submodules thing because I don't need to get updates for themes very frequently. I usually take them, modify them like I did here, and then kind of make them my own. So. Let's see if this one works before I go. Just please work one time before I go. Sometimes you do have to refresh it to see that it failed. Let's see why it failed this time. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing this. Don't really care at this point. Because on the next stream, we're going to create our own theme. We're not going to use this one, and I'll create something new. We'll start with something kind of blank and kind of a fresh canvas and just build a very simple theme for this site. And then we'll deploy it up to Netlify. I'm going to deploy it up to Vercel, AWS. We'll cover all of those different things. So if you're really curious about Jamstack sites and Hugo in general, Go ahead and check out the next video where we're going to start. In this one, we covered just creating a new Hugo site, doing a little tweaking with the template, adding in some data. So what I'm going to do is pull all of my YouTube videos. So I'm going to make an API call and rip all my YouTube videos. And then I think I will add them in as articles here. And obviously I don't want to copy and paste each one of them into these files. So I'll write something in Golang or Python that will generate these files automatically. So I'll have it rip through the results, all of the YouTube videos that I have up, and we'll build out nice little pages for this. So jeremymorgan.tech will be a set of embedded YouTube videos to start out or something. So stay tuned. We're going to do all this cool stuff this week. Thank you very much, everybody, for jumping on this stream. Follow me on Twitch, YouTube. I'll definitely be switching or streaming to Twitch and YouTube, possibly the other ones if they work properly. So if everything works on LinkedIn and Facebook, I'll stream there. But most of my efforts are probably going to be directed towards YouTube for now. So if you're not following me, follow me on YouTube, follow me on Twitch, and I'll keep doing this kind of cool stuff. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Even my friends that came to heckle me, thank you for coming to heckle me. And we'll be doing this again possibly tomorrow, if not tomorrow, Wednesday.